Alright, so let's continue from where we stopped. So we have been able to we have been able to create our lists, and we have been able to make a particular list active. To make this first one active, you see, is now 1, is now 2, and is now 3. So let's go on. Now to create to-dos for every list. Again, we are going to create our controller. That's app.route. So app.route, and the URL we need is, so let's give it a route, and that should be to-do slash create, to-do slash create. So def create to-do. Okay, we can just maybe disconnect this one with Ctrl+C first. So create to-do. To create the to-do, so what we're going to have to do is, let's go back to our model and check the files that we have. So what we need for the to-do, we need the ID, the description, completed, and the list ID. So just like we did for the first one, we don't need to pass in the ID. So the next thing we have to do is the description. So description is equal to request.form.get, and get what? Description. The next thing is also going to be completed, and for now completed will be set to false, because when you just create a new to-do, it's of course you have not done it, it is to-do, so completed is going to be false by default. Then the list ID, is equal to request.form.get list ID. So after that, we have created all the things we need. After that, the next thing we are going to do is to create a new variable. So the new variable will be to-do is to-do into, the first thing we are going to have is the description. So description is equal to description, comma, completed is equal to completed, or we could just ignore it here and just pass in completed is equal to false directly here. And the next thing is list ID is equal to list ID. So we are going to create our to-do by doing db.session.add to-do. Then remember, we have to commit every change that we make to our database. So after that, we can go back to our web page. Can go back to our web page, which is the index. Can go back to the index page. Oh, why do I keep ignoring this? URL 4. So that's not all. We have only created the controller. Let's create the interface for it. So to create the interface for it, we come here and let's create the interface for it. And what we first have to do is to create another form. Also remember, we need the method here. It is a post. So it is a post method post. So form. On the form, we have the action. Action is what? Then we pass in the URL. which is to do slash create, to do slash create. You see it here, to do slash create. So that's the action. Then we also have the method. The method is post because we are having a post request. So the first thing we have to create in our form is we will just create an input. The ID is going to be the list ID. So this will be responsible for the list ID, and the type is going to be hidden. Now we are doing this like this because we already have an active list. We already have an active list. The active list is going to have the list ID on the, it's going to have it on the URL. So we are just going to get it from the active list. We don't need to pass it in by ourselves. So any list that is active, the ID is what we are going to use here. So we don't need it to be active. Then we'll pass in the value. The value is going to be active list. Active list dot ID. Remember when we were getting to do list, we have this active list here, which gets the active list. So it is this active list, this one that we are using here, active list dot ID. So that will be the value. So we don't have to change any other thing. The next one we are going to have is the description. The description. So maybe we could just have a label here. Label for description. Yeah. Page task. Now we can have the ID. Input ID is description. Type is text. Name, description. Okay, let's also add the name here. List ID. So name is description, and let's have a placeholder. Let the placeholder be task description. Then, since we have already passed in the value of our completed as false here, we don't need any other thing to direct it again. So we could just have our button. Just have our button. And have our button. So that's input type is equal to submit. Then the value can be create task. Value can be create task. After that, after creating our task, let's also check the tasks that we have created. So maybe we'll be able to, if we'll be able to create to display what we have created. Maybe we'll be able to display what we have created. And what we are going to have here is also the active list dot name. Don't worry, we can still style these things further so that they will be arranged, they'll be arranged. But let's forget about the styling for now and just do the major work. We can have under here a list tag, the ID, to do. So we have a loop for to do, to do. We have now, it is at this point that we'll be able to set the to do to be completed or not. It is at this point that we're going to set the to do to be completed or not. So let's just have a data ID. so which will be the to do.id, and the type is going to be a checkbox, so that we'll be able to set it to complete or not. Name will be complete. Also the ID complete. Don't worry, we'll still come back here when we create the controller to update the to do. Maybe we want to set it to completed or not. So we'll still come back here. But for now, we are going to leave it this way. To do dot description. To do dot description, and let's have our button for delete. Let's have a delete button. Alright, so let's check our web page now. Maybe we have any errors or any problem. Let's run Control F5. Okay. Oh, then we have a template error. Return render template index.html to this. So the error is from here, line 35 index.html, and line 28 app.py. So let's go ahead and check that out. Line 28, this is line 28. This. Okay, we read what is shown us here. It said, unexpected end of template. Ginger was looking for the following tags, end for or else. Now we know one problem. Look at, we opened the for loop here and I didn't close it. So we just go ahead and close that. And for. Okay, since we have added the end for to avoid the template error. So I think that's just the main problem. The other one is just the passing of data that has given us an error in this to do. So I think that's just the major problem. We can run our app back with Ctrl F5, then go back to our web page. So on the web page now we can see we have the lists. Then we have the interface to create a task for the active list. Then we see displaying the active list here. So let's check if we can change the active list. Maybe if we actually change, go to the market. Now we see it has changed. Sleep, it has changed. Go to the market, it has changed again. Eat a delicious meal, it has changed again. Now we can see that the active list is changing successfully. So what we are going to do now is let's try to create a task for cook a delicious meal. Let's have a boil water, create task. Now we can see it has created the task, and now it is displaying. This is the check button that we are going to use to send that the task has been completed or not, and this button will be used as a delete button. Okay, I think we still have one issue in our template. It is not displaying the name of the task. Let's go ahead and check that out. So okay, it is here. I think it does remove this one. Let's check what we have like this. Alright, it's not displaying that yet. So let's just check it again. Alright, I figured out the problem. The problem is wrong spelling. To do dot description is supposed to be description, but what I have here is description. So let me just correct it here. Description. Okay. Now we see it here. Boil water. Now let's try something. Let's try to change the active list. Maybe these things will still show. Now we see that after we change the active list, it's no longer showing. That is, we have been able to create just for this one. So let's create for sleep. Lay my bed, then sleep. Oh, I've made a mistake here. I'm still supposed to be in this place. Sleep. Right. So sleep, we have lay my bed and sleep. Go to the market, we have nothing, and cook a delicious meal. This was a mistake. We'll remove it later. Boil water. So in this go to market, let's say buy from my, let's say, what can we have here? Let's see. Let's have go to store, get items. Now we have it here. Go to store and get items. Go to store and get items. So let's go back to our page and see. Okay, so we see that after we create a new to do, after we create a new to do, it goes back to the default one, which is the first. So let's try if there is something we can do. Let's try if there's something we can do about that. If there's something we can do about that, let's just try. We have get to do list, because it's still this page that the default, the index page goes back to, the page for the get to do list. This one. So let's pass in the value list id is equal to, let's use this same list id here, same list id that we have here. So let's check it out again. So cook a delicious meal. Cook a delicious meal. Now let's try to create something. Eat the meal food. Okay, it's still here. For sleep, let's create another one. Wake up, it's still here. So that's good. That's good. So when we create a new to do, it doesn't have to go to the default page, which is the first one again. So in the next video, we are going to implement the delete button. So we'll be able to delete our to-dos, this ones now, so that when we click this X button here, we'll be able to delete the to-do. Alright, thank you.